Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Ike Paz, and today I have a very special guest, someone who's personally helped me with his software solutions to earn on Amazon's KDP network. And today's guest is Niranjan. He's again a wizard when it comes to selling on Amazon KDP and providing solutions to help people out do the same thing on the biggest e-com site in the world. So without further ado, Niranjan, how you doing?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So what's going on today? Because I invited you on here today, and you got some really exciting news about your new generator, your new puzzle generator. Can you tell us a little bit information about it, please? Or
Oh,
actually, a lot
yeah,
of
sure.
information about it, if you can.
Sure. So, yeah, first of all, thank you, Ike. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be talking to your tribe here. And it's always a pleasure. And as far as this maze generator is concerned, this is something we've been working on for last 10 months, as you know. And this is something that is going to change the landscape of maze generation for KDP and Etsy publishers as we know it. I'm obviously a little biased because, it's something that we have created, but I can't tell you how pumped up I am to be sharing this with you today. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the privilege to work with it. It's a beautiful piece of software, and I know it's beautiful because it makes life easy. And that's at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to create something that makes life easy and helps people who don't have, like myself, who doesn't have tech skills, design skills, to create products that people actually want to buy. That's going to enrich the lives of others, and using and leveraging, I should say, the one of the biggest networks out there, or one of the biggest e-com sites, Amazon. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for creating that. I got some questions, and forgive me if I'm jumping into the questions, but I really
That's
want
okay.
to answer these questions from my subscribers. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Okay, cool, wonderful. So first off, it's some basic question. What is Amazon KDP?
All right. Actually, that's a great point, to start off of because we in the past we have had customers who come in because they like the applications, but they're not initiated when it comes to Amazon KDP. So KDP is a indie publishing platform, right? So it allows users like you, me, and others watching this video to basically become a self-sustained publishing house in itself, right? You create your manuscript, you create your covers, and you do not have to worry about having an agent. You just put it on Amazon, let Amazon do the bulk of the work and print it on you, or print it on behalf of you, and then of course sell it all by themselves, right? So all you do is essentially work on creating the manuscript and the cover and let Amazon take care of the rest of the things. So it's an indie publishing platform which publishes and prints books on demand.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And so yeah, you kind of alluded to this in your answer about you're publishing your books on Amazon. But like, is there any? Well, how do you really make money with this platform, Amazon KDP, and these types of books?
Sure. So, yeah, what happens is, as marketers, right, as individual business owners, we need a couple of things. We need an interest, a group of people who are interested in a product or a service. We need the skills to have the product created, and we need an ability to place or position our product in front of the people who need them, right? Now, what happens in this entire ecosystem is Amazon does all of the bulk work. Like, what they do is they've already got the trust that they enjoy with millions of people across the globe, right? They've got the traffic out there. They, in fact, go ahead and tell you what kind of products these people are looking for, right? All you have to do is type it on the search button. And once you recognize that, all you really have to do is create your book, publish it to the platform. And once it is live on the, of course, this KDP platform is something which is manually reviewed oftentimes because of quality stuff and all those things. And once it is there on the platform, Amazon exposes your product to the audiences looking for such a solution or such a product or book or any such thing for that matter. And whenever a sale happens, so what happens is Amazon sends that particular order to a printer, who in turn prints it, sends it to the end user who has purchased, and whatever revenue is generated, a part of it comes to the publisher or people like you and me who publish on this platform as a royalty per book or per notebook that we sell. So that's how we make money. And one of the best parts of this entire business is the passive aspect of it, because you're not really dealing with shipping issues, you're not really dealing with customer support, you're not really dealing with kind of calling your printer whether it is done or not. You're not worried about deadlines. All of that process is streamlined. So that's how you make money. You basically publish a manuscript with the covers into the platform, and you wait for sales to happen, and then you make money off of it.
Beautiful. So just to recap on what you said, and what you said, many beautiful things there. First off, you don't need to build your own reputation with other forms of making money online, like affiliate marketing or printables or things along those lines. You don't have to build your own site. You don't have to build your own reputation. You don't have to worry about people publishing your book. Amazon takes care of it. And like
Yes.
in the past, when you build content, it's a means to an end, right? Or now when you create content or build content, it is the profit. It is the product. So
That's
before
right.
you think of content, you think of traffic. You make a YouTube video, it's traffic. You create a blog post or a Pinterest pin or whatever, it's to get traffic. But the content you're making with Amazon KDP, or even better so, the content you create with your maze generator, that's the thing that's being sold. That's the thing that draws in the traffic on the Amazon platform. Would that be an accurate
Yes, that's
assessment?
absolutely. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. So to get more specific, and by the way, with your past puzzle generators, specifically the word search one and the crossword puzzle one, I myself, and to this day still earn a passive royalty from the books I've created. So I know what you create is really good stuff, and I'll have some screenshots on this video, I'm sure, when I
Right.
publish it. Okay, so thank you for
Right.
that. But now I want to jump in more specifically to your new maze puzzle generator. How can your puzzle maze generator help me earn with KDP? I mean, do I really need it? Can't I just create my own maze by myself?
Right. So yeah, that's such an interesting question, because most people who are getting started in this niche, or with KDP publishing in general, do get confused with it. Okay. Now, to answer your question, can you do this without the application that we have built? Absolutely, you can do it, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing it, but there are some challenges. And if you want to do it the right way, because when you're building a business, there's always a right way and a wrong way of building a business. You need to decide for yourself which side of the table you want to be in. Because one of the problems is, there are some applications out there, like free applications, which will allow you to create some mazes that you can eventually end up using in your books. But if you read the fine print clearly defines that this is only for personal use,
Oh,
right?
okay.
That's something that most of us forget. And it does not really make a difference for a lot of people, because they think that these things cannot be tracked. But trust me, when you get online, there are a lot of things that can be tracked. And if a company has to come after your business, they will come after your business, right? So that is why, it's super important that you do everything ethically. And if you were to create this on your own, you would, number one, need to have expertise in some of the graphic design applications. Now that is in itself a profession, right? So that could take years to master. Let's say, even if you want to get handy with it, it could take you a couple of months. And if you are a KDP publisher, Ike, so you know that when you're putting together a book, 100-page book, you need at least 100 mazes, right? And
Yes.
these mazes can take hours each if you were to do it on your own. Trust me on that. All right. Now you decide what is the time that you're going to spend on creating just one maze book. And anybody who publishes on KDP, any seasoned professional who is there like you and I, we know that the 20/80 rule always works. No matter how good our research is, no matter how good the keywords are, 20% of the books are going to get us 80% of the revenue. You just can't help but have some dead stock over there. So that is where you really have to look at what is the dollar value of an hour of your time, and is it worth it to spend that? So that's where I would say, yes, you can create books for sure, you can create mazes for sure, but if you look at the business model, it becomes unsustainable over a period of time. That's where the application comes in.
Okay, so if you're basically, it's better to fly than to walk in this example. Yeah,
Exactly.
because walking takes a lot of time, and you want to
Yeah.
get to your place as fast as you can, so you can repeat the
Right.
process an infinite number of times. And like you said, your time is finite, and how much is 1 minute worth of your time? Very, very well
Exactly.
put. Thank you very much. And this brings me to another argument in our space, KDP. I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you have a different opinion. I don't think puzzle books and coloring books are low content books. Do you know what I mean? So you think of low content books, you think of journals, you think of diaries, things along those lines. What do you think?
Well,
What category? They're not like stories or narratives like your traditional books, but definitely there's more component to a puzzle book or a coloring book. What do you think? I'm curious.
yeah, and I think that is primarily because of the entry barrier. Let me try and explain what I mean by entry barrier. So, people starting with KDP, if they are constrained in terms of time and if they are constrained in terms of graphic design skills, what they do is they start off with the notebooks, and that's where the low content thing comes in. This is something that we have defined. Amazon doesn't segregate between a high content book and a low content book. It's at the end of the day a book for them, right? But we in our industry we have kind of categorized notebooks as low content. Now I personally consider maze books, coloring books, activity books as mid content books, and the reason why I do that is because it does involve a little bit of work to get them up, especially if you're doing coloring books, if you're doing maze books. It's somewhere in between the high content where you're writing a story or a novel, and and the notebooks on the other spectrum. So it's right somewhere in between. So I think for me that's a category and niche in itself.
Mid content. I like that mid content. Yeah, I tend to agree. It's definitely not low content, and it's not as well, maybe no, but it's not as difficult as writing out a story, a plot with characters and whatnot. Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. And in your opinion, or maybe in your experience, what has earned you more on Amazon KDP? Low content or puzzle books and mid content books?
Right. So first of all, I don't do high content books. I don't have novels per se, right? So and I have a very minimal amount of low content books. Have hardly a few notebooks up there. But my primary focus is the mid content segment, and that is because as I said, I deal with a lot of graphic work. Have a creative team that I manage. So essentially, we have been focusing a lot on the mid content right from day one. Whenever we started KDP, and we have been doing this for a significant amount of time. So most of our revenue comes from mid content. Yes.
Okay, and so far with me as well, mid content, these types of coloring and puzzle books are outperforming the low content ones.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
stands to reason, isn't it? Like, because it's a demand and supply thing, right?
that's right.
When you're moving up the ladder and kind of adding this kind of content, what happens is you're differentiating yourself from a bigger audience, bigger pool of publishers,
That's right.
and then yeah, the demand and supply thing kind of turns in your favor, and yeah, it stands to reason in my opinion.
Yeah, it makes sense. 100%. I agree with that. How is your, and this is a really good question I got, and there are other puzzle generator solutions out there right now. Not the ones you mentioned that don't allow commercial use. I'm talking about ones that do allow commercial use. How is your puzzle generator, maze generator, excuse me, different from the other maze puzzle generators that do allow commercial use?
Right. So I think this is the question I'm going to love among all the questions you may have for me from your tribe. So this is such a wonderful question. Okay. First of all, the product that we are bringing up is not a maze generator. Terming it as a maze generator would probably talk about 10% of its capability.
Wow.
What it
Okay.
is, is a publishing suite in together, right? We've got features that are designed for my team to streamline my workflow so that I can produce more high quality maze books to publish on KDP. And now that entire suite of applications is what being transferred on a silver platter to our audiences, to our customers, right? And the way it is different is, let me tell you, there is you could take a bunch of say 30 images, all right, 30 PNG images, You could click one button and you will have shape mazes created for all those 30, neatly organized into a 30-page book, complete with solutions connected to the mazes, complete with page numbering, complete with margins, titles, and everything. And all that you could do like literally in 5 minutes flat, right? So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about just the maze creation. Maze creation is a small aspect of what we do. This application is all about streamlining the workflow so you save more time and make more money. And that's something that we bring to the table. In terms of features, I really doubt that we have an application which allows you to create whole books and still be able to edit every single maze, every single page in the setup, right? How many applications, commercial applications that you can think of, which allow you to import your images and create your own layout, right? Not many of them. So that's where we are different.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And actually, I was going to save that for my review. First off, like you said, the auto generating aspect of it is just a small part of it. But the fact that you can create shape styled mazes at a few click of a button, adding these bulk images onto your mazes and creating them. I'm sorry, adding these bulk images to your template and then turning them into mazes is pretty remarkable. I'm glad you mentioned that now. It's really cool.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. There's one more interesting thing I think you'd recall. There's this concept of master slide. Okay. So let's say you've got a maze created in one slide. Say page number 1, you've got a maze created and you've got set the settings and everything else, right? And now you want to repeat the settings in 50 mazes. All you have to do is click on a button, enter the number of pages, and then you'll have all the settings set up for you. So, this is optimized to save you time in multiple ways.
Multiple ways, saving you time and not having too much of you interrupt the process.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to my next question perfectly. And this is a good question from a subscriber. What kind of design skills? I know you mentioned minimal, but I really want to know what kind of, from your point of view, from your opinion, what kind of design skills, if any, do I need to use your puzzle maze I wouldn't call it a generator anymore after what you said, puzzle maze suite. What design skills do I need?
Right. So as far as the maze creator application is concerned, the design aspects is already taken care of, right? So the application does the designing for you. You basically set change the settings and the application takes care of itself. So if I can term it as a no design application, then I think that would be appropriate, because what you're doing is essentially letting the application create all the mazes, and in turn you're importing images of your choice that you may have access to, that you may have rights to, and then using them to compile a page which is completely unique and different. So I would say if somebody has never seen a Photoshop screen or Illustrator screen, even they would find this application very powerful, and they'll be able to create a book probably in a few minutes, without any design skills whatsoever.
Okay, so taking into account the resources, the image resources you have at your disposal, excluding any design, whatever, it could be open source, public domain, or you had it outsourced, you can put a book together in a matter of minutes. Is that correct? Yeah. Is that correct to say? Perfect. Yes. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, cool. Are there any upsells to the maze puzzle suite?
Right. So yes, there are upsells to it, and I'll give you a quick brief about what those upsells are. But before that, I would like to address one particular thing so that your tribe, your people watching this video are clear about it. Okay. Now, it took us, the entire team of about 4 software developers, about 10 months to develop this. Okay. So we could sell this in one bundle, right? And the price would be high. What that would do is you would price some customers out. We didn't want that. So yes, there are upsells. The first product that you get, the front-end product, it literally gives you everything to get started on your KDP journey in the right fashion, right? If you move to the OTO1, we've got some pro features for advanced users. So for example, in the pro features, you'll be able to download PowerPoint files. And mind you, these PowerPoint files are 100% editable. I mean, if you download a maze book in PowerPoint in the application using the pro upgrade, you will actually be able to change the color of the maze itself right inside of PowerPoint. How cool is that?
That's
right?
very cool. Yes.
Right? You can also download the mazes as SVG files. The impact of SVG files on our kind of business site, right? You don't have to worry about pixelation. You can drag and drop them, make them as big as you want. So that is available, right? You'll be able to insert images into your maze books, maze layouts, and kind of work with them. And there are a lot of upgrade features that are available on the Pro upgrade, right? So that's OTO 1. We've got 2 more upgrades. The second OTO, which is, well, by the way, OTO is one-time offer, which is what, during the launch, it is at a certain price, which will go up after the launch.
Okay.
So the second upgrade that we have, it's about converting your images into shape mazes. Now, think about it. You have a book which is filled of rectangular mazes, right?
Okay,
and
yes.
you have a book which is filled with like, a
Teddy
maze.
bears.
Yeah.
Pigs.
So which one is going to be more attractive, right?
Yeah.
So this application, this upgrade does that. It converts your images into shape mazes so that you can work with them, and you can basically up the value that you're delivering to your potential customers, and kind of have a better chance of working. The third upgrade that we have is something that I use in my own personal business, and I've had a lot of success with it. So what I do, this is something I'd like to share with your tribe.
Please.
I do, this is what I've seen, and this is kind of an exponentially increase my sales and my revenue. Okay, what I do is I add some little elements into the mazes and build a little story around it with just one sentence. Okay, now what I would do is, let's say that there is a giraffe. Okay, and that's kind of eating some leaves and stuff like that, and there is a kid giraffe right at the bottom. Okay, and then I would place the maze right in between, and I would say, help the mama giraffe feed the kid giraffe, and exclamation mark, and they would have to solve the puzzle to kind of enable that. That is something that has enabled us to generate a lot more sales from exactly the same mazes in our business, right?
I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I have to get on and say that's what's been profitable for me as well, is niching down. Like going back to what you said about the having 100 square mazes versus having different animal mazes, or just actually, I recommend one animal, different images of the same animal, because you want to niche. For example, cat maze book is going to outperform the square maze book every day. Plus, to what you said, customizing more, dwindling it down to that niche. And in your example, help the baby giraffe find the mama giraffe. That's gonna just, exponentially improve customer satisfaction, reviews for your book, which will lead to more conversions. It's like a snowball effect.
Cyclic process. Yeah. And that is the third upgrade, basically, where, because people don't have access to these images, but I do have that flexibility in terms of the creative team. So we've compiled a series of 100 unique images, built that into the application, so that with one click of a button, you will be able to add those to your pages, and you have completely unique pages.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Question: I just want to make this clear to everybody. Oh, and one more thing to people watching this. So the front end is the foundation. It's all you need. Now, do you want upgrades? Well, it's going to save you more time. It's going to improve your conversion rates. Yeah, of course. But when it comes to eliminating yourself from the creation process, well, at least 90% of you, then the front end is what you need. It's the foundation. And I think Niranjan and his team, that's right. It's a self-publishing suite. Like you said, he does provide again, and this is all born from his need to give his team a easy way, without bothering Niranjan, without bothering him, an easy way to pump out quality products that people actually want. Okay, so actually, me and him were talking about this before we got on this call, on how valuable these types of software are, that you can actually niche down. And it's like going to a park and then going to Disneyland, right? They're both parks, but one is way more spectacular than the other. There's so much value when you can niche down. Maybe I'm really passionate about this idea of niching down. But yeah, to this point here, this question here, do I have, just making sure, do I have full 100% commercial rights on everything I create with your Puzzle Maze suite?
Absolutely. And that is the intention, right? The intention is to enable people who buy this to be able to sell books on KDP, on Etsy, and profit from them. So yes, the commercial rights are available.
Thank you. I do get emails from people asking me that same question again and again, and rightfully so. You should be worried about. You should worry about that. You are at the mercy of Amazon or
Absolutely.
Etsy, for example, if you're using Etsy as a printable. And that kind of leads me to this next question: can you sell these books and/or printables off of your own site?
Please do. I would encourage people to do that, and this, listen, here's the thing, we're giving you a powerhouse of a software application. We want you to exploit it and make money as much as you can, because once you create the products, right, it is for you to sell. And if you can sell it on multiple platforms, nothing like it, right?
Okay, the more
So
the
I
better.
would
Yes.
encourage people, yeah, more the better, yeah. And in fact, I would encourage people to diversify their sources of revenue by publishing on multiple platforms. Take this to Etsy, take this to your own WooCommerce site like you do, Ike, or to Shopify stores, like I'm putting together my own Shopify stores as well. So yeah, by all means.
Rock and roll. Very nice. Okay. Okay. And this is perfect segue to my next question. Very good question here. Oh, actually, I have one before that. When you were talking, it came to mind. What do you think about mazes on T-shirts, as in PODs, print on demand products?
Right. So I think there could be an angle to it, but I personally have never tried it. I have never done that. So I don't know, but it looks like an interesting idea, especially with some quotes that could go really well, and some small images that could go well with it.
Yeah, I was thinking like, how drunk are you? And,
Oh
and you have to see,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
I don't know, but
amazing.
maybe.
Right.
Sorry about that.
No, that's right.
Are there any, in your experience as a KDP seller, are there any other online publisher houses, sites besides Amazon KDP? Is there any other game in town that we can publish our books on and/or printables besides Etsy?
Right. Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't use a lot. I mean, I know of. There are publishers who do the physical side of things, physical product side of things. There are a lot of them out there. But my primary focus has always been on KDP and Etsy, right now, as far as the publishing business is concerned. Now, recently, I've started working on the Shopify stores side of things, and that's something that I'm going to work on. So, if you ask me in person in my business, I really do not use any other platforms as of now.
Yeah, likewise. I use my site because I control Pinterest traffic. I use Amazon, and that's the when it comes to KDP, that's it. And
Yeah.
Etsy, I have a love-hate relationship with Etsy. Other people are blowing it up on Etsy. Well, okay, but that's besides the
I
point.
can understand that
Yeah.
when you say that, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
especially, I know your results pretty much, right? I mean, I have seen the kind of success you get with your WooCommerce store. And once you're used to that kind of money from your products, especially when you're controlling the traffic, it's kind of dicey to be.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Sorry?
It breaks my heart that
I
people are
know.
selling printables for $2 or 200 yen or whatever. Sorry, I don't. I'm start to cry if I talk about it. But yeah,
I can understand.
you understand. And this is the next question. I've changed a lot on it. I used to tell people wait until you get some organic sales before you jump into ads. But as of the past 3 months, as soon as my book, my KDP Amazon book gets published and I have the look inside tab, once I get that, I start throwing ads at that. What do you say? When should we use ads, Niranjan? What's your opinion about it?
Right. So I have a little different take on this one, Ike. So right now I do exactly what you do. Okay. So irrespective of what the situation is, my book goes live and my ads go live, right? And that is primarily because now there is a trajectory or the path of progression that I know about each book is going to go through, right? So it wasn't the same when I started off though, right? When the ads were coming up, I was starting off, I wouldn't do that. And that was primarily because I didn't know, you need to look at this in the context of my business wherein I'm pretty good at production and I cannot have enough ad budget for all the books that I create and at the pace which I create. So for that reason, initially on when I was working with these books on Amazon, I would not go ahead and start with the ads right off the bat. I would wait. I would wait for some books to pick up, have some organic sales, have the money that I can pump in back into the advertisement side of things. But today it's a very different game because it's more of a process than anything else, right? So today I go ahead and publish a book, run the ads, see what sells, and then kind of build up from there. If you ask me, like if somebody's starting off, I would still advise, right? And money is a constraint. I would still advise to go ahead and focus on doing a little bit of niche research. All right, you don't have to go bonkers about it. Right? Amazon is the tool that you need really when it comes to niche research. That's all that you need to do. Go in there, find a gap, fulfill it, and be prepared to have some books that will never sell. I still have books till this day which have never seen the day of light of the day. Right?
Me too. Me too.
So, yeah. So that's the business model. Go out there, bring some money in, and once you have $100, $200, $300 passive income coming in every single month, start putting them back, start plowing that back into your business. That's the direction I would advise to someone who's just starting off.
Okay, I agree with you. You can do both ways. You can, like we do now, start and hit the ground running, put some ads there, or wait until you get some organic sales and start adding ads. That being said, relatively speaking, Amazon ads are much easier. Cheaper and easier than, for example, than Google. I mean, Jesus, it's night and day.
And the best part is they're all buyer intent ads. I mean, people in there, they have the credit card in one hand and they're on the Amazon platform, like browsing on the other. So essentially, when they click, more or less, they intend to buy. No,
that's right. There's a reason why Jeff Bezos is richer than Larry Page. Jeff Bezos built a search engine for buyers. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's
it. Larry Page built something that they want to get entertained. They want to buy something. Who knows? They want to learn something. Yeah. Jeff Bezos, people who come here are going to buy something or they're going to buy something in the near future. Yeah, so that's definitely why. Yeah. I guess you answered my last question. When should I begin to see? Oh, no, you didn't. We didn't. When should I begin to see sales? And this is kind of a tricky question. It's like asking how long's a piece of string, in my opinion, but I got to ask it because my subscribers want to ask. Yeah. When should I begin to see sales from my puzzle maze books?
Right. This is actually a very important question. I mean, it may sound trivial to some in the sense like, we're talking about how soon can I make money, but this is directly connected to the mindset, in my opinion, right? So when you're coming to KDP, it's not a get rich quick kind of a scheme. It is nothing to do with it, right? It's a publishing business, which is tough work. So, you need to get the mindset. Yes, a lot of the work is done for you. A lot of hard work is taken up by the softwares like Maze Creator. You've got Amazon doing a lot of work for you, but you need to have the right mindset. And if you ask me, my suggestion would be come in there, publish your first 50 to 100 books, do not expect anything, right? These 50 to 100 books are going to be, and it's not going to take you a lot of time with the level of automation, with the level of processes, streamlined processes we have nowadays. It's not going to take a lot of your time. You could actually make your first sale within a day of your book going live. You could make a big bulk sale of about 10 books from your very first order, or you could kind of, just be there for about 2-3 months to generate your first sale. That's what the process is like. We could give you a better reason or better answer, but that's what the reality is. Like, you're in my groups, right? You're in my software Facebook groups, right? You have seen a number of people coming in there and saying, hey, you know what? I got my first purchase within a day, right? But
very satisfying. It's very satisfying to see that in your group, or if I get a testimonial, I'm very happy to, hey, I followed this one guy on YouTube on my comments. Hey, I did exactly what you said for this mandala tutorial I created, and I made sales the week after publishing. I'm like, yeah, so you feel, wow, it's cool.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I mean, it could be as good as one day you could get your first sale, and that could set the tone of your business. It could take you a couple of months, but the process is this, you have to have a mindset of building a business. And when you build a business, you don't let go of it within a day, within a week, within a month. You have to put in the effort, follow the process, and get things done.
Okay, so have a positive mindset. Think of it as a
Yeah,
marathon, not as a race.
right.
Okay, a sprint, I should say. And you want to try to enjoy the journey. You're learning something new, and Amazon and your software together is making it as easy as it can be. Not
Yeah.
saying it's easy, but it's making, compared to building your own site, creating your own mazes, doing all this
Yeah,
stuff,
I mean,
learning all these different skills.
right.
Amazon plus your solution is making it as easy as it can be. Would you agree to
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Yes, that is what it is, because you don't have to worry about traffic because you're going to the place where traffic is there, right? You don't have to worry about printers. You don't have to worry about design because the Maze application, instant Maze generator, is doing all that stuff for you. So all you have to do is be the connecting link between all this and in turn make money. That's all you have to do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now that I have your brain here, Niranjan, I want to step away from the maze and talk about maybe some hints or tips you can give my audience, my people here, on some of the pitfalls, some of the things they should worry about when selling books on Amazon. Like
In general,
for example, what are some things you should stay away from when selling on Amazon? Like, what shouldn't you do?
right. So here are certain things that I would advise, and some oftentimes these look very lucrative. For example, you will see people publishing coloring books with a Mickey Mouse image in that, with a with trademark stuff. I would stay as far away as possible from that kind of stuff. Listen, that might be selling, somebody might be making money, but it's not for long, and you're actually playing with fire when you're doing that kind of stuff. So anything trademark, I would stay away from it. All right. If you do not understand a niche, do not assume anything when it comes to Amazon, right? I mean, one of the things that you would not want to do is make an assumption, and you commit an error which basically is against Amazon TOS, and you're you basically are away from your business. I mean, Amazon doesn't want you anymore. So what I would suggest is, do your due diligence, make sure you have control over every single aspect of the manuscripts you upload. So if you're using a quote, do your due diligence to make sure that quote is not copyrighted. If you're using an image, make sure that you have the actual rights to use those images. Mix and match them to create a composition. Look, you could use the same image as, you could use an image and I could use the same image, but we would have a completely different composition in our page,
That's
which would
right.
make it different, right? So my suggestion for anyone working with Amazon KDP would be, do your own thing and make sure you're compliant. And that is one of the reasons why we created this news application, right? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm dragging this application
No, no,
back
no,
into
no, no,
this.
no. Please, I want you to talk as much as possible. Share your wisdom, please.
Right. The idea was that because, oftentimes the licenses associated with applications or with graphics in general is very complex. You would need a lawyer to understand them, right? I cannot have my KDP business at the mercy of such products where I'm not very clear about the licenses. The licenses could go either way, right? If you read on any of the stock image sites, if you read the license, you would need an hour or two to comprehend what they're trying to communicate. So I wanted something very simple that comes with a very clear licensing in terms of what you can do. You want to create a maze and publish on the KDP platform without having to worry about the licensing, just use this and get done with it, right? So that's the idea. So my suggestion would be, do not, if you think you are in doubt about a certain aspect or a certain law or certain rule associated with Amazon business, if you think you could go on the wrong side, do not do that. Stay away from it. There are hundreds of ways to make money with Amazon, right? Especially in the KDP niche. There are a lot of opportunities out there. We really don't have to, play with stuff that could remotely affect your business in a negative way. So
That's
yeah,
right. If you don't know, stay away. Okay, because I see a lot of people who like you mentioned, they'll put Mickey Mouse or Sleeping Beauty, and you
yeah,
get Mickey Mouse gets angry at you and he shuts you down, like
yeah,
that. He doesn't play that rat. But yeah,
yeah.
that's some good advice there. Be wary of the licenses, right? You have it. Are you allowed to? That being said, how do you feel about like images and sourcing images from open source sites? Or
Yeah, I think
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think that's a very good way if you do your research of having access to the images, and then you have to be crafty in the way you use them, right? So if you go through the license, for example, CC0, right? So if you have a CC0 license associated with an image, I mean, you could do literally anything with that particular image. You could sell it commercially. You could do everything that you want in your KDP business, or for that matter, in your printables business, right? So I think, it's not about the license, the product as such. It's about the specific license associated with that particular product. And in order to give yourself that extra liberty, just go ahead and mix and match to create a new composition. A composition is basically a number of separate elements combined together, and make sure they cannot be extracted, right? So if you
100%.
do all this, I think there's hardly any chance of getting into problem. There's absolutely no chance that you could get into problem if you take care of these things.
That's right. And things are changing. Back in the 2000s, I had a friend of mine who was just republishing public domain books from Gutenberg onto Gutenberg site onto Amazon. And now that you can't do that, you can, like you said, recomposition things where I have one of my popular books is a book from antiquity, and I added some mandalas and some other components to it to make it completely unique. But just having that book by itself there, you can't do that anymore, right?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. In fact, you know what, I like, this is an area in the business that I have not ventured into myself, wherein I have content books, be it public domain, be it self-created. We do not really have a lot of that. And that comes primarily from the fact that we've got a creative team which is more into drawing, illustrating, and stuff like that, right?
Cool.
But as for the images, you're right. I mean, I'll just give you a parallel example, right? A few years back, Pixabay, Pixabay.com, the website with a lot of free images and resources.
Yes.
They were free for you to use commercially, right? And they got acquired by some other company, and now the terms have changed. So if you're not on top of your licensing agreements, if you're not on top of the images that you're using, then there is that iota of risk that you need to be wary about. So yeah.
Okay.
I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
That you did very well. Two more questions. I know your time is precious, but I just two more questions. One dealing with covers. We both know how important covers are. And second, sprinkling sales copy into your descriptions to increase that conversion rate. Okay, let's talk about descriptions first. Oh, do you have some kind of formula or some quick heuristic or rule of thumb you use when creating a description, or your team creates a description for your books?
Yes. I actually have a very well-oiled machinery for that. So it starts. I may take a few minutes to answer this because
Please.
The description for a book actually starts with researching the negative comments. In fact, it's an integral part of the entire production flow. That's what I was talking about, right? It's not a maze creator. It's something that is streamlining your entire production flow. And for us, description is an integral part of that production flow. So what happens is, whenever, let's say I want to create a maze book, right? And I want to create a maze book on dinosaurs. I see that a dinosaur maze book is already selling, it's selling really well, okay? And then I would find what's going on over there. What are the negative feedback, okay? And then we would try to plug that in our book itself. And those would be the salient features that form the backbone of the description that we write, in addition to the keyword that we want to rank for and stuff like that, right? We would give the basic features. For example, if, let's say, some maze books or some coloring books, they would have one side blank or one side covered in black, so that the color doesn't seep through and stuff like that. Those are certain things I would make it very clear in my description, so that it's not misleading the customer in any way, right? What we try to do, I mean, when I'm writing a description, I don't try to sell the book, all right? I try to inform the audience. Why? Because I believe the biggest salesman in this world is Amazon, right? Amazon will eventually find its way out to sell a good content that customers are happy with, that users are happy with.
So always testing. Amazon's always testing.
Yes, they're always shuffling things around and they are figuring out the best way to sell your stuff, right? What you need to do is what Amazon wants you to do. Amazon wants you to deliver a stellar experience to the users, right? And that's what you have to do through the description. Now, if you see some of the comments, you will see that they say, it says this description was misleading. right? You have say 100 pages, right? 100 mazes. You
Okay.
cannot have a 100 mazes book with one maze on each side, on one side, and the other page blank, and not have 200 pages in total, right? So there are so many people on Amazon that you can't keep everyone happy. What you need to do is make your list of the top 5 or top 10 problems with the type of books that are selling, and then figure out a solution and make them the cornerstone of your description, right? Now you make sure that you highlight those particular aspects in addition to the generic things like, how many pages are there, if there is something that they need to be wary of, what kind of paper they should expect, whether the cover is matte finish or things like that, what is the kind of age group that this would appeal to, right? So all those kind of things that you think could be an objection in the mind of the customer is what you would address in the description. So for me, getting into a niche, I would start with the description simultaneously along with the content of the content planning of the books. So it's a thing that goes in tandem.
Okay, beautiful. So use those negative reviews on other people's books, and I like the fact that you sprinkle some sales copy terminology there. Use them as objections within your copy, the copy description, to highlight the things that it's not, so that hopefully your potential customer understands that this is the book I want because it doesn't have the things that I don't like from other types of maze books.
Right.
Very well said. And I want to add to that, also think of the visual component. Are the sentences spaced out correctly? Don't be afraid to use the bullet points. Now KDP has a fully fleshed out HTML kind of little editor there in the description area, which you can use before you have to add your own code. So take advantage of that. Thank you very much. Well said, Niranjan. And lastly, and I think people might argue the most important thing is we judge books by their cover, unfortunately. Yes. And covers. Tell us about covers. What is first off, do you have like a fixed template for what works already? So you just have to plug and play, or do you start from scratch every time you create a cover?
Right. So in my business, what has happened is over a period of time, we have created so much content, right? So we now borrow, mix and match. But I'll tell you when I started off what I was doing. So I would have a template which could be particular to a specific niche. So say, for example, if I'm creating a handwriting book, I would have a specific template for that. If I'm creating a maze book, I would have a specific template for that. If I'm working on a dot double book, I would create something for that. So it was niche based, and then I would shuffle elements around that to make them look unique, and then I would want them to stand out in the marketplace. One of the things that I always look for when I'm designing something is if I get into a niche and I see the top 10 pages, the first page on Amazon for that particular listing, right, for that particular keyword, okay. I see a color pattern. Is there any way I can stand out with a bold color? Because I primarily work in the early education space. I work with kids' activity books and stuff like that. So is there anything that I can do, right? If you scroll, you just think one thing that stands out. And that is something that I use as a starting point when it comes to kind of, the color scheme that I want for my audience. And of course, if you have, say, unisex colors, if you have a book which is appealing to boys, which is appealing to girls, then you want it to be in a certain color scheme, right? So that's something that we do use. But I cannot overemphasize the power of having a cover that kind of conveys your story. So most of my books, what we do is we show as much of our work as possible right on the cover. So if I'm doing a coloring book, I would have about 4 different coloring pages on the back of it and probably some elements in the front itself, so that people get to see, they get a feel of what they're expecting. What this does is over a period of time, it reduces the friction between them buying and not buying. So, it becomes very easy process overall.
And like you mentioned, use the back of your cover. For a long time, I didn't, like an idiot, I didn't do that. And definitely you want to use the back of your cover. And like you said, you add some of the inside of your book in the back of the cover, and you might want to highlight some points. And to what you said earlier, you want to pop out, right? I think there's a marketer by the name of Godin, I forget, Seth Godin, I believe, says you want to be the purple, yes, you want to be the purple cow. You see, if you're down the line, you see brown cow, white cow, that's brown cow, white cow 1,000 times. You see a purple cow, you're going to stop your car. Look, honey, there's a purple cow. and
Right.
you want to be that purple cow in your space. And so you want,
And I think, one more thing, when you see this look inside feature, right? So the look inside feature, it's available on your, you can see it on your laptop, on your computer. You cannot see it on the mobile, but you can see the back cover on your mobile, right? So if
okay.
you're giving that glimpse over there in the back cover, that gives you another opportunity for those mobile shoppers, because the bulk of shoppers on Amazon are on their mobile. So that's another aspect to it.
Very good. Well said. So just to reiterate, mobile is a little different. You do get that back cover is more pronounced there.
Yes.
Unlike laptop or tablet,
Yeah.
you can get the look inside, but not like mobile. So you want to make a lot of use out of your back cover as well.
Yeah.
Very good,
Yeah.
man. Niranjan, it was a pleasure having you. This is a long time in the making. I haven't had you yet so far, and I'm glad to have you on my channel now. You've delivered a lot of value. You taught me a lot, and I can't wait for other people to get their hands on this beautiful piece of software that you and your team created. If you guys want information about that, I have information down below. Plus, of course, the bonuses my custom bonuses I'll be creating for you. Before we go, anything you want to leave, any message you want to say, any place where people can find you, let us know. What do you tell us about us? Tell us about it, Niranjan.
Yeah, I mean, I would just first of all, now that we're concluding this video, I would like to say thank you to you, Ike, and this entire community for accommodating me, for having me here. It's an absolute honor and privilege, because as I said, even for the conversation, you did not know this, but I have actually learned a lot from you in my business, especially when it comes to printables, right? And the softwares came by now, but I've been doing printables for a long time now, right? So I just wanted to say thank you so much for this. And I do not have a place on this company website or the software application website, because we primarily launch on Warrior Plus, and we do not really have an enterprise level of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook. If anyone wants to get in touch, they can always get in touch with me. And if they have any questions, they can always get in touch with you, and we can discuss this out, right?
Okay, very well said. So people can find you on Facebook, and that's one of the things that I didn't mention, and I kind of regret thinking about it. And I didn't mention in this video is the level of support Niranjan and his team, the level of support they have on Facebook for the people that who take the chance and get the puzzle creators, the puzzle suites. The level of support is outstanding. It's also a very vibrant community of people sharing what they've done, sharing their successes, and more importantly, asking questions and getting those questions answered. So thank you very much for that. Good stuff.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Ike. Thank you so much.
Thank
I think,
you.
I mean, whatever you, yeah.
Go ahead.
Just want to add one more thing, you mentioned about the community. I think that's everything that we work for. It gives an immense pleasure, like you said, to see someone just go out there, publish a book, and then kind of, come back and report that they have had success. And, you're in our group, already that a lot of people have success, and the commitment to customer success is something that we are proud of. And, that's, as you rightly said, we are very passionate about it. We are very passionate about it.
Very good. Niranjan, he's one of the good guys out there helping people actually earn online. And please follow him on Facebook, ask him any questions. You can ask me any questions down below, and I'll be sure to help you out. Okay, be good, take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.